What's up, gamers, and today we're going to be talking about the best build that you can get for Caesar King and everything that you're going to need to build them. So before hopping into the build, let's figure out how she actually works first. If you don't care about the kit breakdown, then there are going to be timestamps, so make sure you click on the sections that you actually want to see. So Caesar King is going to be a physical defense unit. So this means, guys, that Caesar King is going to be able to provide a shield for your whole team. But not only does she provide a shield for the team, she also provides buff for the team as well, and she can also act as a sub breaker on your team too. So she's like a shielder that provides some type of sub breaking on your team, so if you didn't maybe run like a breaker on your team, she can play that role pretty nicely. And we can tell that's going to be the case just based off of her core passive, because her core passive will allow you to give a shield to the whole team based off of her own base impact. And then not only this, guys, her additional ability allows you to put a debuff on the enemy, which makes them take more damage. So not only is she providing a shield to the team, she's also putting a debuff on the enemy and making your allies deal more damage to them. And if you're to factor this into the damage calculations, this comes very far down the line. If you've played something like Honkai Star Rail, she works kind of like how Chef J works with this ability here, right? This is going to be a very, very strong debuff that you're able to put on the enemy, so this is going to make her great for a lot of team comps. As far as how the rest of her kit works, she works a lot off of parries, meaning she wants the enemy to be hitting her, and then you using your skill moves and defensive assist and defensive type moves to parry the enemy and do large amounts of damage on them, which then provides the rest of your team with shield. Then it'll allow her to do more dazed damage on the enemies, and then not only this, guys, she is kind of soaking in a lot of the damage that the rest of your team would be taking. But that is going to be a very basic breakdown of how she kind of works here, guys. Until I have actual hands-on experience with her, I can't really show you any combos or anything like that. So just take this for what you are right now. If you want an updated guide, please leave a like on this video and let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, her kit breakdown kind of out of the way now, let's talk about all the materials you're going to need to actually level her up to max, get all of her talents leveled up and everything like that. So guys, on screen now will be all the materials you're actually going to need. Now, I'm sure you've also noticed on here, there are two talent materials that you have not seen before. This is because they are not in the game right now. When this patch launches, you will be able to get both of these materials right here. So what you should be doing is, before she actually launches, you shouldn't be doing any of your weekly bosses until she launches, because one of these things is a new weekly boss you have to fight to actually get the talent materials, and the other one can be obtained through doing the expert challenge mode. So maybe save some of your extra battery charges so you're able to fully max her out, or get her to the highest level that you currently can. So you're gonna need to save some materials. You cannot farm these right now. You can definitely farm all of the other materials that you see here on screen. So with that kit breakdown out of the way, let's go ahead now and talk about her best in slot W engines. And obviously the best option that you can choose is going to be her signature weapon. This is just hands down her best in slot option. If you want to go for this W engine, it's going to be an absolutely great option to get. And if I'm going to be the creator that the Zenless Zone Zero Space needs, I'm going to have to give you guys the harsh truth. Realistically, there's only one free-to-play option that you can run for her, which is not even like the best option, right? And that's going to be Original Transmorpher. And the reason I recommend this is because it gives you impact in its ability. If she gets hit, you get an impact buff for 12 seconds. And if you can get this thing maxed out, all the way maxed out in terms of dupes, you're getting a 16% increase to her impact, which is the stat that she most needs to give shield to the rest of your allies. So if you don't plan on pulling for her signature W engine, this is going to be the next best option, and really only other option that I can recommend in terms of W engines for. Another option that could be viable if you're running her on an anomaly based team is actually the A rank Peacekeeper, because it'll be, first of all, giving her energy, and then on top of that, give her extra anomaly buildup rate or any assist follow-ups that she's able to do. So this can work in certain scenarios. I think the best overall option for free-to-play players is going to be that Original Transmorpher. Now let's go ahead and talk about the moment you might have been waiting for, the disk drives. What are her best in slot disk drives that you should be running? But before we talk about that, please hit that subscribe button, because I like making Zenless Zone Zero content, and if you guys like me making it too, then hitting that subscribe button shows me that you want more of this content. Subscribe button, please, gamers. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, gamers, her best in slot disk drive set is actually something that you cannot even get in the game right now. This will not come out until her release, the 4-piece Proto Punk, because it'll be increasing her shield effect by 15%. And then not only this, guys, on a 4-piece of this, if an ally or anyone on the team does a defensive assist or an evasive assist, the whole team will be getting 15% increased damage for 10 seconds. So this dish makes it really good. This is an off-field passive that this set is able to take use of. So you would be running this set with a 2-piece of the Shockstar Disco, because it gives you increased impact, and you want as much free impact as you can possibly get to make her shields even juicier, and also to help her with her sub-breaking role that she's going to be playing on the team. Now you might say, YouTube, but what can I farm right now to be useful on her. So I'm going to go ahead and give you what I think is going to be her second best in slot set, which is a 4-piece Shockstar Disco and then a 2-piece Swing Jazz. The reason why I recommend farming these two right here is because you can throw Shockstar Disco on any other defensive character if you wanted to help them with days. You can throw this set on just about any other breaker as well if you wanted to, because the Disco set will be allowing you to get increased impact. And then not only this, guys, basic attack, dash attacks, and dodge counters will be increasing the day's damage that you're doing by 20%, which is absolutely massive. So if you end up getting the new set for her, you can just take this set and throw it on whatever breaker you currently have in your account. You could throw it on an Anby, you could throw it on a Colada, you could realistically throw this on just about any other breaker, or at least use this for a 2-piece on a lot of different characters for the extra impact there. Now the other set I recommended here, a 2-piece Swing Jazz. This can be thrown on a lot of your support type characters because it gives you a 20% energy regen rate. This will help them out in getting their buffs back up for the rest of the team. So if you decide to get this set now and then go to run the best set on her, you just take this set off, put it on another supportive character, and then they're going to be fine and dandy there. So these are the best two sets that I can recommend. Another set you could possibly run would be like a 2-piece Jazz, 2-piece Shockstar, and a 2-piece Fanged Metal. Realistically, if you're not using the first or second best set, you can kind of throw in a mixed match of whatever 2-piece sets you want, just do a 2-2-2, and it'll kind of just work. So I'll go ahead and throw all the 2-piece sets you could probably mix and match and get some decent value out of if you're really a fiend for getting some set bonuses. Now, with that being said, let's talk about something more obtainable. What are the best stats you should be aiming for on her gear, right? Because the main and substats are what make and break a character. You can honestly say screw the sets for the most part as long as your substats and main stats are good, okay? So let's go ahead now and talk about the best in slot main stats. On the 4-piece, I would recommend crit rate or crit damage because she does a lot of attacks. She's probably going to be on the field for a good amount of time. So because of that, you want to make sure she's dealing as much damage as humanly possible on the enemy. So that's why I recommend crit rate, crit damage on the 4-piece set here. On the 5-piece, I would recommend either physical or attack percentage. Physical is going to be better, but you can run attack percentage as well because it is a more universal stat that works on any other character versus physical damage only really working on physical characters. Hence the name physical damage bonus. And then finally for the 6th slot, this is easy. Impact. She relies on impact. Just get impact main set here. That is absolutely okay. That is what you should be aiming for the 6th slot. Now, let's talk about some of those substats. For the substats, pretty easy, guys. Crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, attack or pin ratio. She's going to be like a sub DPS, sub breaker, and then her shield really just relies on the impact that you have. So you can't get impact in the substats, so might as well go ahead and aim for anything that helps you get some extra damage out with her. Now let's go ahead and talk about her best in slot teammates as well as her best in slot Bangboos. Alright guys, so first things first, this is going to be one of her better teams right here, and that's going to be a team with both Lucy and Piper. Now the reason why this is good is, first of all, these characters are both sons of Collidon, right? So let's just put sons here. So you automatically get the faction bonus with just them being on the team. Not only this, guys, you get an additional bonus from Piper here. So you're getting a full 3 buffs from just having this team on the field. This is going to be your buffer right here, your designated buffer. Obviously, you're going to have the pseudo breaker and your Caesar King, right? And then this will be your like main source of damage. She does anomaly build up and some pretty big anomaly damage whenever you proc it off. And with Caesar King being there, and like I mentioned before, if you're running something like Seth's signature like W engine, this can really help out Piper in the situation of building up that anomaly rate, just so she's able to pop off some major damage there. But this is not the only team, and nor do I think this is her best team that she can be ran on. Another team I want to mention here is a team with Miss Jane Doe the Hoe from Bangboos, right? Now, you might be saying, she can't activate her ability, she doesn't play off a physical. That's right, Jane Doe does not play off a physical. So what you're going to have to do in a scenario like this is you're going to need an additional character on the team that is anomaly, right? So you would have her on the team, you would have Caesar King on the team, which is a defensive unit, right? Let's put a heart there for defensive unit, and then you need one more anomaly character on the team. So that could maybe be someone like Grace in this situation, or maybe even someone like a Piper. So you're able to proc off her buff from Piper because she plays with anomaly characters, and then if you get the assault off with anyone else, you get the big damage bonus from that. So if you're able to use someone like Piper and her on the same team, and then you throw Miss Caesar King in, you're going to be amplifying their damage even more. And with Caesar King also being a physical type, that means you're able to build up the physical anomaly with every single one of the characters on your team. So I think this could be a very solid option here, just to run a full team of physical. Now this is mono physical, so you're going to have to focus on events with physical weaknesses, but I think this is probably going to be one of her better teams that you can run her on. Now let's go ahead and talk about a third team now, and this is more of a future team you can run, especially if you plan on pulling for Bernice as well, because Bernice is anomaly, This is Anomaly, and then this right here is obviously your Shielder Pseudo Breaker, putting debuff on the enemy, allowing them to do more damage. And honestly, you could probably even use this in a scenario where you have her on the same team as Jane Doe as well. And if you're running this, and then Jane Doe, then obviously you're getting some pretty nice synergies. I think this is probably going to end up being her best in slot team. Hell, maybe even replacing Piper in some type of situation for Lucy to get the extra buff going off for her if she ends up being more of a main DPS. Anyways, now let's talk about Bangboos. One thing I want to note here is the Bangboo is really going to depend on the team you have. If they release a new Bangboo that plays with the Sons of Collidon, right, then you would run that on a team with Sons of Collidon. If you're running more of an anomaly-based team where you have different damage types, then maybe you'll run that Bangboo. The Bangboo really depends on what team you're running them on, so it's very hard to recommend what Bangboo to level up because it's going to depend on what team you're wanting to run. If you have any questions about that, leave it in the comment section down below. I'll try to get back to you on what Bangboo you should be focusing on leveling up. But overall, if you're running Sons of Collidon, then the new Bangboo is probably going to be the best bet for you. Anyways, gamers, that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed what you saw today, leave a like, maybe subscribe. Anyways, I know this is kind of like a weird build guide because a lot of the stuff that her best in slot is not really out in the game right now. I did want to provide you guys with that information just in case you were looking to pre-farm something and then you don't want to go and pre-farm the wrong thing, right? Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one, gamers. Later. Bye-bye.